On the 13th of March 2020, all of my plans for the year were put on hold. And here we are, a year later, still unable to see friends or family, unable to attend university, and unable to travel. Every day feeling like a Groundhog Day, same thing, over and over again. It doesn't have to be this way for me though. I don't live in the middle of Slough or some built up area of grey. I live 4 kilometres from the edge of the Brecon Beacons. Within 10 minutes of walking out my front door, I have views that some people dream of having. There are multiple nationally known tourist attractions completely empty within the parameters of my allowed daily exercise. And yet I haven't visited these places since the summer when they were packed with tourists visiting Wales because they couldn't go anywhere else. I think it's time I stopped reliving Groundhog Day, got outside and saw as much of these places as possible. Time to stop taking them for granted and visit as many of these miles of mountains as I can. Current lockdown rules for Wales state to exercise alone, with members of your household or support bubble, or with one other person from another household. Exercise should be undertaken locally and must not involve driving to a location away from home, except in limited circumstances. So all things considered, I'm very lucky where I live.
We're going up there.
I could be having to walk in circles around Swindon or something. Whilst I could walk along the main road that goes up the whole valley. That's really boring. So instead, I'll walk up to the Sarn Helen, a road built by the Romans.
That's a long way up. This road follows the top of the mountain, the whole length of the valley below. So it's a great way to get places if you want to get there with a good view.
I'd say this road is probably a prime example of the cheesy old saying, it's about the journey, not the destination. And I even found some friends along the way.
Whole place to ourselves.
This film has given me great reason to get out again. It's certainly my way of making the best of the situation, and I'm lucky to be able to call this work and not be stuck on a computer all day inside like so many people currently are. If there's one lesson we can all have learned over this past year, it is to make the most out of what we have on our doorstep. You don't have to go out far to find adventure. I wouldn't have thought to come to many of these places if it wasn't for the fact they were the only places I could go. I've lived here for a decade and hadn't been to the Roman Heads until recently. I hadn't even been on the Sarn Helen for a good 5 years before lockdown started last March. But now that I've been there and done it, I know for sure that I'm going to make an effort to come to these places more often. It would be rude not to.